This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Greetings, mortal. That's kind of frightening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 49 of Lords of the Storm, the weekly Heroes of the Storm podcast for you, the true Heroes of the Storm. I'm your host, Greg Parker, a.k.a. Gizmozord, but you can call me Gizmo. And on this week's episode, Li-Ming has entered the Nexus. Heroes of the Dorm is back for 2016. The new patch is live, and we discuss the lonely bug no one is talking about in this week's Hero of the Week. It's Anub'arak. But of course, joining me this evening are some more of the Zord Lords themselves. First up, we have Mr. Kevin Ellis, a.k.a. Multizord. How's it going, Kevin?
I'm doing quite well. I like these live shows because I'm basically just watching my own face in the camera the whole time, and it's a good time. That's all.
Stare at the face, and I'm staring at the people. That's it. That's all you gotta do. We also have joining us, as always, Mr. Ryan Reeder, a.k.a. TBK Zord. How are you doing, TBK?
It's more like Anub'arak. Right?
Exactly.
Am I right?
Because we don't encounter him.
And even when you're playing him, he is quite lacking at the moment. But
I've never liked
Hopefully,
him. I'm just going to throw that out right now, but we'll get there.
Hopefully, we're bringing some awareness, though, right? This is Anub'arak Awareness Week.
yes, because Dustin...
They had to do a Chen Awareness Week not too long ago, and they fixed his queue finally.
Yeah, it's all because of
That's
us.
awesome.
So Browner, Spirian, here you go. And if you could also put the Lost Vikings in the free hero rotation.
That would be cool.
Seriously,
But
please, just once every 8 months, I'll take it.
Or at least once a year, at least.
let's do it. What have you guys been up to in gaming this week? Multi, we'll start with you.
So, okay, I was going to talk about the fact that I started playing Diablo 3 a little bit for the first time in a while. But then Hearthstone decided to drop a just boatload of stuff on us. So basically, the news of Hearthstone right now, they're going to come out with a new way of breaking out the ladder into two different forms. There's going to be the standard mode, which is going to be the new way to play competitively. And basically, that's just where with each new expansion, they're going to drop off some of the old content, anything 2 years old or older. So when this next expansion comes out, they're going to drop off the Nax Ramus and the GVG sets, Goblins versus Gnomes, and then replace it with, the new expansion and a new adventure to cover that, and yada, yada, yada. So, okay, so I got a wild guess as to when this is going to happen. They're having these winter preliminaries coming up here, and the first one is actually going to be it's kind of near the end of the month. I think it was February 20th or so. And so, after this first leg of the road to BlizzCon happens, it would be kind of irresponsible of Blizzard to make us wait too much longer to be playing with the new format and the new meta and all that. And they're getting in the habit of not waiting too long between when they announce something and when they release something. So my guess is we're going to at least know what the expansion is, if not have it out in early March. And my other guess is because they're taking out a lot of mechs and Death Rattle synergies, that I was looking up actually just World of Warcraft content that has a lot of these types of things. And Tempest Keep came to mind because they have one of the wings in that was the Mechanar. And so I'm going to call it right now, Tempest Keep next month, or at least Tempest Keep themed with Kael'thas as a card. Maybe? That's where I'm going with it.
Or a hero portrait. But they already have a mage hero portrait, I guess.
Right.
Something has to replace Dr. Boom, right? Something else OP. So let's go Kael'thas because he's OP everywhere else.
Right? Why not? Just give him some sort of just burn the entire enemy board and win the game.
See, I mean, you have ANoob'aRekt as well, but they already did the Goblins versus Gnomes thing, so maybe they want to stay away from that.
I don't think they've taken a lot of the flavor stuff out of Tempest Keep. So, I mean, it's just a wild guess. They could do anything, but that's just kind of my wild guess. So, why not?
Fair enough. I need to. I saw all the hubbub going around on Twitter, and I haven't really read into it yet, so I need to do that. TBK, what have you been up to in gaming this week?
So I actually had a little bit of extra time to branch out a bit because I played some games with Swift on Friday. So we played some Rome 2 Total War, which is always, the Total War series has always been a favorite of mine. So super pumped for Total War Warhammer that's coming out. April 29th, actually, which is my birthday. So I am taking that day off, and I'm going to play that until I drop. It should be a lot of fun. Also played some Diablo. Played a little bit of Season 5. I wanted to get in. Played Demon Hunter. Haven't done a Demon Hunter before. It's really cool, though, because it's so like Vala. I just love how well they kind of made those side classes like the same. So that was really neat. And then I am super pumped for XCOM 2, which releases Friday. So that is going to eat up my entire weekend. But other than that, lots of heroes, especially the last few days since the patch. I've been playing Rhaegar nonstop, and we will probably cover Rhaegar again here in a few weeks because he is massively, massively changed, and it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to actually suggest to you guys that maybe he's one of the first ones we go back and reiterate on just because he's...
after he gets nerfed, because he will...
You think?
He'll get a little nerf probably. I bet Li-Ming will get a little nerf, and Nova still needs some love. Nova still needs some love.
Well, for myself, I guess a lot of heroes this week. Of course, playing some ANoob'aRekt, which was...
Oh boy.
It's... he's fun, but again, lacking, that we'll get into later. And then, speaking of XCOM, I've been hearing all the hype about that, and I had never played, but L-Train, shout out to him, hooked me up with a code for XCOM Enemy Unknown, which I assume is that the first one? Or like an
yes,
expansion
Enemy
pack?
Unknown is the first one, and Enemy Within, I believe, is the expansion.
Yeah, so I've been avoiding it because he's warned me, and I've heard from other people it's a time suck, and my life will disappear.
Oh, it very much is.
So
like, think Civ, and then translate that. It's pretty similar.
yeah, so there was too much to do this week in Heroes, so I've been avoiding it. But one of these days, I'm gonna hop in and probably disappear from the world. But yeah, lots in World of Warcraft alpha stuff, some testing, trying out some new classes in that as well. But yeah, just Blizzard stuff for me this week. So we have some announcements again this week.
Yes.
Again.
Indeed.
We mentioned our Patreon last week, and again, we want to thank everyone who is already supporting us. It blew our mind how quickly that went up, and we have officially reached our first milestone goal. And we reached it in, I think, less than 48 hours after the live show, but 24 hours before the actual show was released. So with that happening, Lords of the Lane, our 2v2 middle lane tournaments, will be returning this March.
So pumped.
Yeah, so not this month, but we are getting ready for it. We're excited. We've been wanting to do it again, and we hope you guys are ready for it. And that being said, we're over halfway to our second milestone already, which is the training videos.
Yeah.
And
which is also very exciting.
Yeah.
Blows my mind yet again.
So
it's come this far this fast, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's nuts. You guys are awesome, and yeah, that's I can't say enough. But without that, let's go ahead and hop into the show. TBK, what do we got in store sales this week?
So lots this week because of the new patch and the Lunar Festival beginning. First off, we got Rexar and Frostlord Rexar on sale. We also have Roller Derby Nova. If for some reason you want to play Nova.
Don't you have that skin, though?
I do. I don't know how I got it, actually. I think it was in a
you
bundle.
Had it super early.
It was in like a bundle, like a starter bundle or a Nexus bundle or something that I got like the Nazibra from. But I don't ever use it because I have the Master Skin, and the Master Skin
awesome.
is just...
The
Master Skin's just awesome.
But
so,
why would you buy the Roller Derby Nova whenever you can buy the Star Princess Nova skin?
Star Princess Nova.
I
Yeah.
thought that was Li-Ming.
No, just
That
Nova.
is-
Nova got some buffs, and they changed their name to Li-Ming.
Oh.
That's at least that's what I heard on Reddit. I don't know.
That is the trending topic on Reddit. It is. It's ridiculous. I'll save my mini rant for when we get down to the patch notes. But suffice it to say, I am not happy with the Nova changes. Johanna, though, this patch was cut down to 4K gold,
Yes.
which is awesome because she's another fantastic tank, especially after the small Murden nerfs with his avatar mini stuns. So she's been seen a lot more of her lately, especially because of that now. So that's great.
It's kind of weird,
and-
though. Like, I like that she's cheaper, but it's just so random.
Well,
I didn't
it's
see it coming.
it's
Yeah, I know.
amazing news for my Smurf account.
Oh, yeah, I'll
yeah,
bet.
seriously, no, because she's great.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't gotten the Cloud9 mount yet, it's too bad because it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. You had your chance. It's gone. You just got to hope Cloud9 wins BlizzCon again, so it'll come back.
It's gonna be tough, man. Things are changing in the
Yeah.
the pro scene.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
true.
be talking about that here shortly, but and then of course the Lunar Festival began. It's the Lunar Festival event. If you played WoW, you will know a little bit about what the Lunar Festival is. There's a bunch of new bundles, new lunar skins for Illidan and Jaina, which are pretty cool. The Lili and Chen lunar skin bundles are back. The Star Princess Li-Ming
Nova.
with the Star Chariot
It's
is
so good.
also a bundle, and of course the Space Lord Leoric, which is pretty sweet. I actually, guys, I caved.
You did?
Oh, who didn't? I
knew
caved
you
on.
guys would,
I
too.
caved on way too much this week.
It's amazing.
I don't even want to talk
the
about it.
mount for it alone is completely worth it. It's a huge motorcycle. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
Although I did want to throw out a little bit of an annoyance. I am very angry at Blizzard because they keep releasing these awesome mounts and bundling them.
Like
It's
the-
I
like,
think
come
that's
on.
their plan.
Yeah, it's really annoying because sometimes
also
like,
worked
I
on
want
you.
the Star Chariot, but I don't want the Li-Ming.
Why do
skin.
you want the Star Chariot? That thing is the most
Because I
hideous
want
mount I've
Diablo.
ever
Incredible.
seen.
I want Diablo to ride the Star Chariot?
Yeah, the unicorn's better than the chariot.
The Chariot's
But I'm
over
not
the
going
top,
to get it
and I like it.
because I don't want the whole bundle. I'm going to probably get Li-Ming with gold, and I don't want to spend the 20 some bucks it is. I don't know why they keep releasing almost every single mount they've released recently has been bundle exclusive. So
It's because it's
I'm-
working. That's why they keep doing it. Everyone's angry at it,
Yes.
yet we
Maybe
still keep
working-
throwing our money
Yeah.
at them.
I know it's yeah.
Case in
Asmodean
point
on the
right
Star
here.
Chariot is fabulous. Yes, but no, I'm very angry at it, and I'm not going to be actually be getting it because of that. So
Put your
that's
foot
sad.
down.
Putting my
You,
foot
you
down.
hear that, Spirian? Put in Lost Vikings, and TVK will buy the bundle.
I
Right?
didn't say that. Nope,
Nope.
I didn't say that.
Fair enough.
Good.
But
I wanted to point out
yeah,
here,
yeah.
though, real quick, that that apparently, and this came from Reddit. Actually, my buddy Steven Tankzord found it. That third lunar Jaina tint, the one where she's got kind of the darker skin, blue-colored clothing, is actually a direct reference to Symmetra from Overwatch. She also has the same sort of like neck clasp, and there's, if you look really closely, they have the same sort of pin on their left side as well. So pretty cool. Little
Yeah.
cross-game reference there.
Yeah, I was looking at that today, and at first, like, I was like, oh, I mean, I can kind of see it, but I don't know if that's it. And then I saw that.
Yeah, me too.
And the fact that it's not on either of the other skin tints,
Mm-hmm.
that clasp or the little badge or patch or whatever. So that's
it's
really cool.
Definitely a little shout out. Kind of like
Yeah.
one of the Tychus things has got an emblem for Widowmaker.
But does that mean that Symmetra will have a Jaina skin?
Whoa.
What?
Oh, meta Inception,
That's game
Inception.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Multi, what do we got going on in the free hero rotation this week?
Free hero rotation is comprised of Artanis, Azmodan, Diablo, Malfurion, Thrall, Vala, Tychus, Rhaegar, By the way, Tychus was at player level 5, Rhaegar at player level 7. We've got Jaina at player level 12, and Chen at player level 15. And of
I
these,
wondered why I'd seen so many Chens. There's been a lot of
Yeah.
Chens lately.
there you go, there you go. Well, and Rhaegar's too, like crazy. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously it's the buff and this,
Sure,
and
sure.
frankly, I still don't own him. Like, I really want to take this opportunity to play him some this week, but I don't know if I'm going to because I like Li-Ming that much. That's a different story. But anyway, so okay, our good buddy Excited Soup, actually in the channel today, or I don't know if it was earlier than today, but regardless, he pointed me in the direction of something that's pretty cool. There's a website, hotshot.com. Yes, that's hotshot. Not, you have to do the 2 S's in the middle. It's not hotshot. I'm sure that's another website, probably dangerous to go to.
NSFW.
Anyway,
We have
So
not
this-
pre-checked that.
no, that is not Mitsuki. No, okay. So it's called the Free Week Nemeses Weekly MVPs, and it gives you the list that we just had there of the free weeks, and then also any other really hyped up ones. Like if they mentioned Li-Ming as a another hyped up hero that you're going to see a lot this week, and then they take the time to run through like what they think the top counters for the week are, and little explanations for each character as to why and which heroes they counter and all that. So it's kind of cool. It's like, I mean, for people in quick match, run into a lot of the same heroes. If you're kind of wondering who you could be playing to put them down a little bit easier. I'm probably not going to go over them every week, even though I may check this every week. I like their reasoning behind a lot of these characters. But this week we have The Butcher is number 1, Tyrande 2, Brightwing 3, ETC is 4, and Sylvanas is number 5, just as some that they've listed to counter what we see here. So kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Might have to add it to my favorites.
The faves.
The faves.
It just blows my mind the amount of content creation that's happening with this game, and just how awesome it all is, because every week almost there's somebody new putting out some sort of new information that's just awesome. So this just happens. Does anyone know how long this has been going on? It says
Excited
2.
Soups
It has
at the
a 2
channel.
after.
How long have
Weekly
you been
Nemesis 2. So we're gonna guess 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 times.
Excellent. Well, TBK, what do we have going on in the competitive scene this week? I know we had the big announcement, of course, again the day after our episode last week.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Blizzard has been on an announcement spree the last 2
Yeah.
weeks. Like, it's absolutely insane how much stuff they've released recently. They're definitely making up for that holiday break. But Heroes of the Dorm 2 was announced again. $500,000 in scholarships and prizes. So teams can, if you have a college email address and you are registered, I believe, at least part-time. I would have to check the official rules. All I know is you have to be a college student of some sort.
And
And
the-
you register. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, the hype video for this thing is amazing.
Yes.
Oh, it was so
Yes,
good.
Definitely watch it.
And it's featuring
see-
Udall Zord.
And his hair.
Yeah. Flipping his hair.
Yep. No, the video is great. Definitely watch the video. But it was such a big deal last year, and it's going to be on ESPN2. The finals are going to be on ESPN2 again, which is awesome. So this is going to be another really big way to reach out to people who might not necessarily watch esports. So that's going to be really cool. It starts off, the online qualifier is February 20th through March 6th. You have until February 18th to register a team. So if you're in college and this sounds like a fun time, grab yourself 4 other college friends and get registered. I mean, this is going to be huge. The actual bracket, once we get down to the round of 64, will take place March 19th through April 3rd, and then the Heroic 4 will be April 9th and 10th. And they have not announced the location of this yet, but it will be played live like they did last year.
In
So
Vegas, I believe, last year, wasn't it?
yes, I believe it was in Vegas last year. So
And those
we'll keep an eye
brackets-
on that. What?
I was just going to throw in that those brackets last year were pretty fun too. So I'm.
Oh
looking
yeah,
forward
and they're
to-
going to do that again.
Yeah.
They have prizes for the most accurate bracket as well. So be sure to keep an eye on that. We'll fill you in as more details are updated, but definitely a huge Heroes thing to keep an eye on. And speaking of huge heroes things to keep an eye on, the first qualifiers, spring qualifiers, were held this last weekend on Sunday, actually, with two teams. There's going to be 4 qualifiers total. 2 teams from each will qualify, and then once they qualify, they don't technically have to play again. They're set. So our first 2 are, unsurprisingly, Bob Ross Fan Club and Cloud9. They took their respective brackets on each side, with Team Blaze and Cognitive Gaming coming up next. So look for them to probably take the next 2 slots. Tempo Storm and Panda Global also did very well, as well as 2Arc and Resurgence. And Resurgence is the newly formed team of part of Murloc Geniuses and Glaurung.
No,
that's
Glaurung's
COG.
back on COG.
Excuse me.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
they're the other.
They just
people
formed
of-
Equinox.
Yes.
Equinox from Murloc Geniuses is on Resurgence, yes. Cognitive is kind of the mix of Murloc and COG players. So they're definitely ones to look for, though. They did really, really well, considering that they've only been a team for a few weeks. So we'll definitely keep an eye on them. The next online qualifiers are Sunday, February 7th, so this coming Sunday. Tuesday, February 9th is the 3rd one. And then there's an invitational on Sunday, February 14th, and that will take place in Los Angeles, I believe.
Valentine's Day.
I know. It's such a weird time for them to have it. I
think if I watch it, I'm going to lay a trail of rose petals to my computer chair.
To the
and then
For
just
you.
sit in
to
it.
the TV.
Oh, okay,
and
I
watch it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah.
It's
I
the
don't
same
know,
day
but-
Deadpool comes out too, though.
Oh, I know. Well, Deadpool comes out on Friday.
The weekend, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And I will be going to see it because it's Deadpool. Very excited. But yeah,
Yeah.
so lots of very high level competitive heroes action coming your way. So definitely check that out on Sunday. And then lastly, speaking of just community homegrown type things, I know a lot of people have probably heard of Chair League before, but this is a recreational heroes league that just popped up. It's only been around for like 2 months, and it's already got like 200 plus teams sign up for this thing. You just go to the website, you sign up, you find a team. There's a whole list of teams that are looking for. You can set like what roles you want to play, what characters, what heroes you're good at, and then you can apply for a team or start your own team. And then matches are played Mondays and Thursdays, and every single match that's played is actually casted live, which is really cool. And they're best of ones. So if you're looking for kind of an amateur recreational type league for heroes, this is a really good spot for it. And then there'll be seasons and seeding, ranking points, and all that fun stuff depending on your winning record. So I've started getting involved in it a little bit as well. I just started casting some of the games on Monday, and I will be casting another one tomorrow.
It's very cool.
Yeah, very
Can we
nice.
go back and watch those anywhere?
You can.
Yeah.
They're actually on my YouTube and on linked from my Twitch channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and the Cheer League actually has a Discord,
Mm-hmm.
which is really nice that you can hop into. You don't have to be playing in it currently. They have a nice free agents channel in there that you can type in. And there's also teams pretty much every night that's happening. At least one team needs a sub or something, so you can hop on and play. Check it out. So that's cool. But we had some more news enter the Nexus this week, and the biggest, of course, being Li-Ming. Has come in, and she's come in with a vengeance. Pretty,
A little too much.
pretty
as some
insane.
people
No.
may like to say.
Leave her like she is. Leave her like
Yeah.
she is. She's fine. She's fine.
She's a blast to play. I don't think she's quite the skill cap that they were touting her to be.
No.
She is. I mean,
She's definitely in the middle somewhere.
yeah.
But you can do a buttload of damage and not be a pro level player. Let's put it that way.
And the craziest part is, yeah, she's super squishy, but she is so hard to kill. Like,
So hard to catch.
Oh, she's super hard. to
Like
kill.
this is the first hero. I played her quite a bit yesterday, and I actually made a build over on Heroes Fire, and I was finally like, I'm just gonna have to come back to this and update it, because when I was going through threats and stuff, I was like, I don't feel like anyone's a threat.
Not really.
I can avoid almost any skill shot unless it catches me off guard, and even like Zeratul and stuff, like with the teleport build I go and stuff, and the reduced cooldown and the shields, it's like no one can keep up with me except for maybe
the thing
Linara.
is that teleport may not be that far, but it's far enough, and the cooldown is nothing.
And the shield is awesome.
Yeah, and she gets shields. Like that blue, like that's what people are complaining about right now on Kael'thas. His arcane barrier is the thing people have really been complaining about, because it negates his big weakness, which is squishiness. And I mean, you have to have that risk-reward trade-off, and when you throw things like that in, it starts, negating the risk-reward trade-off. And at least we were kind of led to believe mana would be her kind of trade. It's not.
No,
not
It's
at all.
not
In
at
fact,
all.
you
There's
don't have
no
to take.
mana issues.
There's that first level talent where it increases your mana that you get back from the globes and gives you some ability power. It's probably worth it for the ability power sometimes, but man, you do not need it.
No.
Doesn't matter at all. Just
No.
spam abilities, which to me is good, because that's what it feels like to play a wizard in Diablo 3. Like, they have that entirely different system with their arcane power. But so in my mind, you've got to be spamming abilities as a wizard. So I like that.
Yeah.
And in general, she does.
If they're going to do that, they need to balance the abilities
Yeah,
based
oh, yeah.
upon that spam, or do what they were initially saying, and the wizard may not feel as much like the wizard, but it'd be more balanced. So I mean, you really have to.
The funny thing is, she actually feels like a really wimpy wizard in Diablo 3. Like, the real meta wizards right now are just these walking explosions of death. And she feels like one of the ones where when you're leveling up, you're trying out Arcane Orb for the first time. But it's amazing in Heroes. So,
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's crazy, and I don't know. My main problem with her right now is I don't necessarily have an issue with her hero damage. It can get nuts, so maybe tweaking that a little bit, but it's her siege damage that I have an issue with, because she can out-siege anybody right now, including Hammer, because her ability's range is longer than Hammer's basic attack range, which is nuts, because you can just stand outside and poke, and I mean, you're outside the tower's range and everything. So I think she at least needs either a range reduction, or at least like 25% reduced damage to structures or something.
No, not even to mention Archon as a siege thing can reduce a core to rubble in ridiculous
level 21?
ridiculous amounts of time. Like
I've actually never even taken
so-
Archon. I need to.
Yeah, it's so insane. It's so absolutely insane. But I mean, we could talk about her forever, and we will be talking about her a lot next week as well. But suffice it to say, she either needs some sort of damage reduction, which is, I mean, they wanted her to be bursty, which again was really funny, because the new Nova is almost taking away that niche she was.
Yeah.
And then they just threw a new one in, because it's like, we don't want this type of gameplay. Okay, here's another one that's more survivable, more damage. And it's very strange to me. So I think they need to rethink that, and I think in lieu of nerfing the damage, they really at least need to nerf her survivability. It's just too darn high right now.
And also, killing Murky should not reset your cooldowns.
That's
Vikings ridiculous.
Too. If you're playing against a Murky or a Vikings, then I mean,
I feel
it's
like you
just
could kill
you become
all
so
of
much
the
more
Vikings
powerful.
in one blast.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, we'll have a lot to say about her next week. Another bit of news that came out this week that I'm actually super excited for. A tweet from Dustin Browder. Somebody asked him if they had any plans on introducing quick cast profiles for each hero. The person was saying some skills work well with quick cast and some don't. And Dustin Browder, with his He's a man of many words. Responded, yes, as always. So this I'm super excited about. I just play on normal profile right now. I don't like quick cast because of the fact that like some of those abilities I like to, for instance, sit in a bush, have it out ready to go, but then I can still cancel it. With the quick cast profiles, I mean, there's some abilities I don't like that, so I can get those in there, have them set for quick cast, and be ready to go. So I don't know if you guys are excited about it.
No, I can't wait for this because like I actually switch it now when I play Sylvanas because I finally tried it.
That's
where you're on
the big
full
one.
quick cast. And
That's
and
the
holding the Q down, oh yeah, it's a game changer in how you just like move with her and do all of your stuff.
Holding
so,
the Q down, what do you mean? You can do that without quick cast?
You can
So the holding the Q down only is bugged on release.
On
because
release,
I
okay.
play on release, and it works great for every single hero, as far as I'm concerned, except Sylvanas Q.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
so
talking
you almost have to switch back to either a full quick cast or no quick cast profile for her. But I mean, she's really the only one that gives me issues. Just personally, the on release has been
One that I
great.
really do need the range indicators on though is Li-Ming for sure. Like I just have to know how long.
Oh, yeah.
How big it's going to get at the end of that arcane.
That's why I
orb and
like
stuff.
on release, because you
Yeah.
get your range indicators still, but it's a little faster than click.
Doesn't slow you down at all. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, so hopefully that comes in fairly soon. Hopefully not before bans. Hopefully bans are one of the next things. We'll see, though. Today, actually, just released, Spirian made another post for new rank 1 matchmaking. And I know, another edit to matchmaking is what people want right now, so steps in the right direction. But with this rule, it's just the goal of it was to make rank 1 players be more consistently matched with higher ranked players, because right now, apparently for some reason, there's a good chance that they're getting paired against lower ranked players. So now they should be getting matched against others between ranks 1 and 4, which still seems a little wide of a gap to me.
Yeah. Especially when the skill gap at rank 1 is apparently so wide in itself.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is it's a lot harder for them to differentiate, at least from a person's player's perspective, what a rank 1 is, because I know there's rank 2s, 3s, and 4s that are super high MMR people, but just because of how screwed the ranking system is, they may have lost their rank 1 status.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't really judge based on a rank 1 or even a rank 5. If a pro player's having a bad day or something, they could drop a rank or 2. I mean, I've seen it before multiple times. So it's the behind the scenes MMR that really matters, but we don't see that. So they see, oh, you're a rank 4 person. This is horrible matchup type thing, and it may be, or it may be that person was just having a bad week, or I don't know.
This does sound like they're really trying to corral ranks 1 through 4 into matching with each other, though. So in my mind, like when I get to that point, when I'm at 4, that's going to be when I'm really expecting to see maybe a marked jump in the, skill that I'm running into at that point. It's possible.
Well, and here's the problem: if you're rank 4 going against rank 1 people, and you're still only getting however many points per win, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. So I don't know. But he did say at the bottom they are wanting to hear back from rank 1 players on how your games feel. The change went in today. So if you are rank 1, if you've noticed a difference, good or bad, make sure to let them know. For sure. That does it for the news, though. Of course, we talked about the patch last week, the PTR patch notes. Well, they went to live this week. And TBK, did we have any changes?
None that I've heard of or noticed. The big thing about these live patch notes is they do have dev commentary. So if you're interested into the why a certain change happened or what the thought process behind it was, definitely give the live patch notes a look-see and just kind of read the dev thoughts. And some of them are always amusing to read as well. But the biggest changes were definitely Li-Ming coming out, the Nova rework, the Rhaegar rework, and then the structures the towers doing more damage to heroes. That's probably, in a nutshell, that's the really big stuff of this patch.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. Well, like we said, I don't know if we said this earlier because I've been saying it so much this week, expecting some nerfs on Rhaegar. I don't know. There's actually been some good discussion in several of the Discord channels I've joined, but how it feels right now that the new heroes that are coming out seem to already do everything. Like they have an incredible base kit coming out, and then their talents just make them insane. Whereas older heroes have a good base kit, but they're not like they don't feel like the new heroes until they already have all their talents selected, up to level 20. Whereas the new heroes feel like they're that powerful from the very start.
I will say they've done a really good job for the most part of these reworks of really differentiating the talents and giving you multiple build paths. Li-Ming is especially a great example of a hero that came out and has 3 probably very viable builds depending on the situation, which is really, really cool. I'm glad we're seeing that stuff. Now they just need to tighten up the balance a little bit more, and instead of using the PTR as just a bug fix thing, maybe start using the PTR a little more as a balance indicator as well. Because
I think,
as far as I'm concerned, like if the PTR, if it's only going to be a week, other than finding a few bugs, you're not going to get any. I would like to see some balance stuff come from that.
True. I was going to throw in that that I think this whole situation is indicative of the fact that Blizzard's just doing a better job with the new heroes. I mean, the talents are cool, their abilities and kits are cool. Like Li-Ming's talent tree, the entire thing is some sort of reference to either an ability, rune augmentation, or an item in Diablo 3 or something. And a lot of them feel like those do in the game too. So like, she's just cool, and I'm glad that they're improving on it. But you're right. I think the way that they and they are. I think Rhaegar is an example of someone they've gone back to, tried to update. And I think that we need to give it time and let them continue to do that. So,
yeah.
That's all.
Well, we wanted to take this time real quick to thank our Patreon supporters and give some shout-outs to some new supporters. This week in the uncommon level, we had Inryu and DG. And then we also had some more that I get to play this again, so... You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords. All right, so for those that pledged $5 more on Patreon, we have Smash Zord. Everybody remembers him. We loved his tournament talk sessions, and he, of course, was joined us at the very start of this little shindig. We have Bagheera Zord, Sardonic Zord, and Monroe Zord. So thank you guys very much, and we are trucking right along. We're going to have to come up with some new milestone goals very soon, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Not that that's a bad thing.
Ew,
Yeah.
not at all.
Just weren't expecting it.
We'll get the old noggins working.
But let's go ahead and hop on into
Hero of the Week.
That's right. This week it is Anub'arak, and they spelled it wrong on that screen there, because right now it once again is definitely Anub'arak.
ANoob'aRekt.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
There's so many
Things
names.
you could do.
We
Yeah.
don't even have time to go over all of the things he currently is.
Yeah, but he is he's a World of Warcraft hero known as the Traitor King from, I believe it's Wrath of the Lich King, correct?
Yeah.
Is he like an
He was in
undead
it
bug?
a couple times.
Is he an undead bug or something? I don't.
He's a bug that lives underneath Northland. I don't know the whole story. Northrend, I suppose it's called.
Anyways.
But yeah.
Derelict will yell at you if you don't.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's we've already kind of let the cat out of the bag, but he's not well loved right now.
Little on the weak side.
I played quite a bit of him earlier this week and today.
I'm sorry.
And well, I love his kit.
It's a great kit.
It's a fun kit, but
it's a numbers thing. Honestly, it really is.
He does no damage right now.
It takes a lot,
and
though.
he is squishy as all get out.
By that I mean his health bar drops and you die really quickly.
Well, he is squishy, but he has. I don't mind that. I actually find he's been okay as a solo tank. It's just my team's not lacking the DPS now because he has good rotational abilities. He can get low, get out, get healed up, and get back in. But I don't know. They either need to bring his numbers back up because they nerfed him to hell because he was nuts for a while, and it was insane.
He was a fantastic.
Yeah.
tank.
Or
He did assassin level damage for a little while there.
yeah, he was like Stitches.
Yeah.
But or
they nerfed him like Stitches.
Yeah.
so I don't know. Maybe he'll be back now. But I mean, we wanted to cover him because we haven't covered him yet, and I would expect him to get some numbers tweaked. And if he doesn't get numbers tweaked, I would like to see his cooldowns at least reduced because all of his cooldowns are pretty dang long, and that would at least maybe he wouldn't have the damage, but he would have more CC and control, just being able to control team fights.
Wait, do you think he's squishy because they're
a
trying
bug?
to make it fit with the lore?
The bug
He's
thing.
But he has an exoskeleton.
A lot of bugs have
I know.
exoskeleton.
But he's big. We're probably squishy to him.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh,
It took
speaking of
forever
bugs,
to kill
though,
him in the Argent tournament.
this is true. Speaking of bugs, though, I did look up www.hotshot.com. That's one S.
Is it safe?
It is safe. It's actually Hotshot, the brand of roach and ant killer. That's fitting.
How appropriate.
So if you like pictures of bugs, there's a dead ant on the front page. And yeah, totally safe to go. Check it out, guys. It might even work.
That is perfect.
I think we should go to them for sponsorship.
This segment brought to you by Hotshots. Let's go ahead and hop into his abilities and traits, though. What do we have for his combat trait?
Combat trait is called the Scarab Host, and on an 8-second cooldown, you spawn a beetle at your location whenever you use an ability. Beetles last for 8 seconds, attacking nearby enemies for 20.80 plus 4% per level damage. And it should be said that this is Beetle, Beetle, and not the British rock band from the 60s.
Wait. Nope, never mind. I was going to say something that made me sound super unintelligent, so I'm just going to skip past that.
Yeah, I say go for it. That's all I...
No.
Anyway, so okay, all right. Let's talk about the trait, though, a little bit, because this is something that did change at some point. I don't remember exactly when it was, but they ramped up the AI on these little buggers, and they started doing, like, way too much damage. And I think that was the patch, right, where he was super strong, was when they finally fully fixed the beetle AI.
Yeah.
And so now they just tuned it down to where they're still smart. They just, I don't know, they don't have the impact that they once did, for sure.
Yeah. Which we're going to be going over kind of pretty much the beetle build, which we did for a couple of reasons. One, it's fun, and two, once he gets his numbers changed again, it will be good. But I think we'll also have there's going to be quite a few situational for playing him right now, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of discussion for sure.
Yeah.
He can be decent.
Abilities, though. We got on his Q, Impale, which is an amazing ability. It's a 12-second cooldown, costs 65 mana. It deals 104 plus 4% per level damage, and it stuns for 1 second. And I'm sure if you haven't played him, you've seen him or seen this cast. It's just a straight line out, and it's like a little thing of spikes that come and shoot up off the ground. Fairly easy to avoid, except
Especially
in
toward the tail end.
yeah, except in kind of hectic team fight moments. It's easier to disguise, but in a laning phase and stuff, isn't generally effective. TBK, what do we got for his W?
So his W is Hardened Carapace. It's 35 mana on an 8-second cooldown. You gain a shield that absorbs 251.68 plus 4% per level damage over 3 seconds. So just your standard, I don't want to take health damage button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of.
It's not bad though.
You,
I mean,
you
it's
use it a lot. You basically use it all the times that it's up. Because his actual health is not the highest in the world.
Yeah.
So
right.
you
and
want
even with it on,
this to be taking the damage. Yeah, and even with it on, it dissipates pretty quick.
You use it a lot, but don't be casting it on off cooldown because it does only
Right.
last for 3 seconds. So make sure it's
Yeah.
going to be used whenever you hit it, unless you're I don't know just doing a camp or something and want to
Like
beat 'em.
I'm running back to the lane. Better turn on Hardened Carapace. No,
I
don't,
could-
don't
Right.
do that.
I
Not,
could-
not quite that much.
I could trip and scrape my knee and instantly die. So better put that shield on.
yeah,
He has a lot of legs to trip over.
He does. He
But
does.
then what do we got for his E multi?
his E is also kind of avoidable too a little bit. It's the burrow charge, where on a 16-second cooldown you burrow to your location, dealing 111.28 plus 4% per level damage, and briefly stunning enemies in a small area upon surfacing. And you can reactivate the ability to surface early. So, I mean, it is fun, and I'm with you guys on the whole fun kit thing, but I'm going to take this moment to point out that even in his height, I really just didn't like the guy, and I don't know why. I love the initiation that Burrow Charge does, and some of the... I mean, you can charge in and then impale to get a more guaranteed stun because you don't have to wait for the, spines to reach out and lash somebody. So, and there's other certain combinations you can do with all this, but for me, for some reason, I just have always felt that other tanks usually did a lot of stuff better. Maybe it's just me.
It's good for escapes too. It's a
That's true.
very
That is
useful thing because it can go under terrain and under walls and structures and all that fun stuff. So that's really good too. But just kind of pointing out back to what Gizmo was saying earlier, just looking at his basic abilities right here, he has nothing that's a shorter cooldown than 8 seconds, and that's just his shield.
Yeah,
His two
right.
moves are 12 seconds and 16 seconds. It
much.
just feels so long.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they should somehow build Hardened Carapace into his trait as well, to where his beetles attacking give him a shield
Yeah.
or something, and then give him another ability, like an offensive ability or something for his W. That's not
like
8
a
seconds.
5-second or 6-second
Yeah.
cooldown or something like that.
But yeah, I don't know. I have to admit something though. I did not know you could reactivate Barrel Charge,
Oh, yeah.
which
You
explains
learn
a lot.
something new every day.
Yeah, because my favorite way to use it is
Makes it much easier to hit people.
yeah, is 1 for escapes or 2 to catch people trying to escape. And I've been trying to time it to where I come up at the end of it to get that stun. Little did I know, I could go ahead and stun them. So that's good to know. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. Most of the time though, I don't want to say all the time, but a lot of the time you won't want to use Burrow Charge to initiate unless
true.
you are sure. Unless you are sure on the kill. Because it is a 16-second cooldown, and it is literally your only escape. And with him being squishy already, just personally, I usually save Burrow Charge, and I initiate with Impale if I can.
I was going to say that. I swear. It's a better escape. It's like vaulting forward with Vala or using the
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sylvanas' E
It's
forward.
one of
It's
those,
dangerous.
if you can get the kill with it, if you can guarantee a kill with it, then yes, it's worth it. But otherwise, you probably just want to save it for emergencies.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about his heroic abilities, though. We have his first one, and my personal favorite, especially right now, is Cocoon. This is a 70 mana. It costs 70 mana and only a 60-second cooldown, which is nice because for some reason I feel like compared to other heroics, this should be like a 100-second cooldown one, but it's not. It wraps target enemy hero in a cocoon, rendering them unable to act or be targeted for 8 seconds. Allies of the hero can attack the cocoon to break it and free them early. This is amazing, and I want to see him get a buff so it can get used
It
again.
is.
This is
It
8
is amazing.
seconds, and the cocoon has a surprising amount of health.
It does.
So
More than you would think.
and especially right now, one of the reasons I was enjoying him, especially today, is because there is a Rhaegar in every match. And beginning of a team fight, what do? Bam, just lock down Rhaegar, get a kill on somebody.
No more ancestral, yeah.
Yeah, no more ancestral, so at least get a kill. And then typically the other team would back off, and then we wrap around and surround Rhaegar and are able to pick him off too. So it's
Yeah.
excellent.
It's a great ability.
Yeah, excellent for taking out that healer for 8 seconds for the team fight, for catching somebody who's trying, like a team that's trying to escape, grab somebody, and they're going to leave him. They should leave him to be killed. And I don't know. It's awesome. I really enjoy
Yeah,
it.
it's really cool.
And then the other one that was actually super popular before
During
he
his
got
height.
nerfed,
Yeah.
because it just healed him an insane amount, was what, TBK?
Locust Swarm, 100 mana on a 100-second cooldown. It deals 68.64 plus 4% per level damage per second in an area around yourself. Each enemy damaged heals you for 18.72 plus 4% per level health, and it lasts 8 seconds. So this is the ability that pre-nerf made him insanely tanky, because he could go into a team fight, pop this off, and he was literally almost unkillable because of how much it healed him.
Yeah,
This
and it
thing
hurt.
got nerfed. And it hurt. Yeah, it hurt as well, but it got nerfed hard. And so the thing that really became his like tanky sustainability got nerfed really hard, so that just kind of ended up emphasizing how squishy he actually was even more.
Yeah, and it kind of blows my mind that they nerfed both this and his Beetles as well at the exact same time. It's like I feel like that the Locust Swarm nerf would have been enough.
Probably.
So I don't know. Again, we'll see. Let's go ahead and hop into the build that we're going over this week, though. And again, it is the Beetle build, and we'll throw some other things in there. At least I will. I was messing around today for things I think are, if you want to play him this currently in quick match, again, he is a fun hero. But I was finding some things on the Beetle build were just not cutting it necessarily for right now, but would
No.
if he gets taken back to the spot that he's
Exactly.
And it's at least a decent baseline to start on.
Oh, for sure.
So,
And it's
if
an
you're
easy-
totally.
It's nothing that it's good for somebody that hasn't ever played him before. You don't really have to focus on anything, doing anything different.
You mean a noob? Yeah. I've been saving that one up.
I know.
So, Multi, what are we going to be going with for level 1?
Well, level 1, we got to start with the beetle build. So it's Assault Scarab. You increase the attack damage of the spawn beetles by 25%. So just 3 damage, which is never bad.
Yeah. And again, was insane. After a few games, I found I wasn't really doing damage anyways. So
Yeah.
I was taking both Regeneration Master, not great, but I kind of found I liked Persistent Carapace just because I was kind of casting my W on cooldown to get beetles out, and this would at least make it last 6 seconds. And it was all right. I don't know. But Assault Scarab definitely will allow you to get more of that damage out there. TBK, what are we going with for level 4?
So this is the big thing that makes the beetle build really work well. So Legion of Beetles. ANoob'aRekt automatically spawns beetles every 8 seconds, and you can toggle it on and off if you're hiding in a bush or something and don't want to be like Abathur, who can't turn his little pooped minions off and hide. You can actually hunt him down, but no, you can turn them off and make him hide. But this is huge because this is a free beetle without having to use an ability at all every 8 seconds, and it doesn't count towards the internal cooldown of the ability you use beetles as well. So you can get 2 or 3 beetles out at the same time when you're using this thing, and it's just extra damage, especially if you took Assault Scarab at level 1.
And the nice thing about ANoob'aRekt right now, especially with the beetle build and stuff, is because his health pool isn't super high, you rarely really have to go back to base to heal up. Once you disengage from something, you can go do a Merc Cap or something, and generally you'll be healed back up because of your beetles, which is kind of nice. I found.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not yet, though. Not yet. That's level 7.
Yeah, that comes at level 7. But yes, this is
Comes at level
staging it
7.
up to where you are able to do
Okay,
that
correct.
a bit more.
That was just a segue. Got you guys for our level 7 talent, which is Leeching Scarabs. Beetles heal you for 50% of their damage with each attack if you are nearby. So there. Just
Yep.
That's what.
Yeah.
That'll do
bam.
it. Yes, that
Well,
will
and
do
this
it.
is this is why you took like the Assault Scarab at rank 1,
Yes.
so that the attack damage is higher, so you're healing for more, and you've got more beetles.
They all
It-
build
it all-
on each other.
Right, right.
Exactly. And then, Multi, what are we going with for our ult?
We have in our notes anyway that it's situational for sure. I mean, you can make an argument for either. I'm with you guys though in that I do like Cocoon a little bit better. A lot of times, if you're cocooning their main damage dealer, you don't really need to heal as much, right?
That's true.
So that's
Yeah,
one thought,
and
and then just the ability to interrupt certain abilities as well as just lock someone out, like we were saying earlier, can be a complete game changer. But Locust Swarm isn't bad. It was really good before the nerf, and now it's still okay. I feel like it can be really good if you have a decent healer too. And hear me out on this one. If you're Locust Swarming and you've got someone doing a little bit of sustained healing on you, you can kind of go nuts. Like maybe you actually can initiate with a burrow charge just once in your life.
Unfortunately, ANoob'aRekt's going nuts is more like, I'm going to scratch you, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to keep scratching you,
But man, you
and
can
maybe you'll
scratch.
start bleeding eventually.
He's got
Yeah.
these huge claws, and like he hits you, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm sorry I bumped into you, guys. Please forgive me. But no,
Pretty
this is,
much.
like Multi was saying, this can be good just as that extra bump if you have a good healer. But this can also be really good if you're playing in a game, especially a quick match or something with no support, just to have that extra sustain to keep you up. It's very good as well. If you're the second warrior, though, in a team comp, I will almost always go Cocoon. Because if you have another warrior other than maybe like Sonya or something, you're probably not going to be the main tank. You're probably going to be more this like CC bot assisting the main tank with your burrow and your impale. So adding that Cocoon to your list of tricks is probably just best overall for the team in that situation anyways too.
And right there is why he's so weird right now, is because if you're an off tank, typically you're a bruiser, like getting in there, doing some stuff. The fact that you just called him a CC bot, that really is it. Like you just
Yeah,
you
he
either
does-
get your
he
CC
just-
off or you don't. That's
He's
it.
almost like a
doesn't have
specialist, like
Yeah,
a
He just
like
doesn't have damage.
a specialist warrior. I don't know. It's weird.
Kinda, yeah.
Utility warrior. I do like both your guys' reasons for picking the different ones. For me personally, I find myself, I almost always go Cocoon, even if, well, in quick match, you rarely find yourself having no support versus support now. Actually, I don't think that's happened to me, at least in a long time, because of those changes. But I generally, up to level 10 is enough time in a game in quick match for me solo queuing to tell if my team is wanting to cooperate with each other, they're paying attention, we're synergizing well, or we're not. And if we're not, I'm going to get nothing out of Cocoon because they're probably not even going to realize it's out or something. So
Yep.
then I'll pick up Locust
Yeah.
Swarm.
Especially with how seldom he's seen.
Yeah.
People are probably, a lot of people would probably be like, "What is that?
That's a cool
Why is
little
that little
animation
web
of the
thing
map.
moving?"
Right.
Yeah.
You're playing on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They're like, oh, look
Yeah,
at the mummy.
exactly.
That's a nice touch. So, yeah. Then TBK, what are we going with for level 13?
So level 13, I think, is probably the most situational talent of his entire build. I really like Chitinous Plating, which increases chitinous.
I think it's chitinous.
Why didn't you didn't look up the pronunciation for us this time, Multi?
Well, the
and send
word
it
is
to us?
chitin. That's like the, I think the
I think it's
exoskeleton.
Really?
I'll double check into this. Yeah,
I have
chitin
always
is
called it
where-
like I think it's in Arc. You pick up like the chitin plates. I've called them chitin.
Yeah.
chitin. Hang
Sure.
on, I'm looking this
Chitin
up.
plates.
You can look this up, and I'll explain my reasoning. So, whatever CHITINOUS plating, it increases hardened carapace's shield by 40%, and this is a huge deal because that shield is really not that amazing when it starts out, and it usually, especially in a team fight, it usually won't last the full 3 seconds it's supposed to be up. This bumps that up and allows you to normally get the full use out of that 3 seconds unless you're just getting seriously bursted on. So that one's really good. Spell Shield can also be good, especially we've got a lot of mages in the game now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a lot of spell throw. I mean, just we've got our Fire Frost Arcane now. We've got our Li-Ming, our Jaina, and our Kael'thas. So sometimes, especially in certain games, Spell Shield can be really good in negating some of that damage.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's definitely chitin, by the way.
Wow. Learning
I knew
something
the
every
word.
day. I've been saying that the wrong
I know,
for
me too.
not just for ANoob'aRekt, for a long time. This is one of the ones to where I've actually kind of started taking Burning Rage just to try and make myself feel a little bit better about my damage.
Yeah,
And
fair enough.
I
I was
found
actually
it
going to say that.
I found it doesn't work though. So just go ahead and stick with the chitinous plating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right, but
I'm so happy I learned a new word.
yeah. Then let's go to level 16 for this. We're going with Blood for Blood, which is one of the few heroes that I still take Blood for Blood on, surprisingly. But of course, since we haven't talked about it in a long time, that's the one where you activate to deal 10% of the target enemy's hero max health and heal for twice that amount, which is nice on ANoob'aRekt, especially if you get it off on a another tank.
Yeah. I honestly think that's probably the best option.
It's
for
just
this
more
one.
survivability.
Yeah.
You really need
'Cause-
it. I mean, there's something called beetle, juiced, which is where
Which is hilarious.
which is great.
It's like,
but
have
if-
your Beatles been juicing, dude?
right, well, and it's a reference to Beetlejuice.
And they, but,
obviously.
yes.
But
Yes.
yes. Anyway, so if a beetle kills an enemy, its duration is refreshed. It is fully healed and gains 100% bonus health and damage. And this effect can only occur once per beetle. I honestly haven't really tried it that much. Is it really
How
that
often
good?
The
do your
problem is your
Beatles
beetles
kill
don't kill
things?
anything
Don't
right now.
last hit stuff.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah, it is very rare for your beetles to kill something themselves.
And if it does, it's just a tiny little buff. I mean, it's just going to die anyway, eventually. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder
think
if
that's-
it's if a beetle. I wonder if it's really if a beetle kills it or like, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where if it just
It might
hits
be one of
something that
those-
ends up dying, like in a team fight,
Yeah.
then I don't know. Maybe it refreshes.
it's probably one of those things because a lot of heroes, very few heroes things are about the last hit on the exact point. A lot of them have like a 0.5, 1 second differential that if the kill still happens, like the Anub'arak or not the
Asmodan.
Anub'arak, the Asmodan orb or
Right.
the like Nazebo poison, because the poison gives you that few seconds to last hit or whatever. So I would assume it works the same way. But it's just Blood for Blood is really what is worth taking for him. He just needs the health sustain, honestly.
Yeah. And then we have our storm talents at level 20. For this, we're situational. So, TBK, what do you like going with?
I like Rewind. And
Yeah.
the reason I like Rewind is, as we talked about before, his cooldowns are so stinking long that Rewind actually is a huge asset here because that's two 12-second things in a row, 2 impales, 2 burrow charges, so you could actually use burrow charge to initiate once you got Rewind, and then still have an escape, and then shield again 3 seconds later, and then you're still saving 9 to 11 seconds or whatever for your other 2 abilities at the same time if you shot both of them off. So
Yeah.
it's really good, and it gives him it makes him feel a lot better. I sometimes will go hardened shield, especially if I'm a solo tank, because 75% damage reduction for 4 seconds is pretty huge, especially in a team fight.
Well, here's the thing, though. You get a little bit of damage reduction just by being able to get off the 2 hardened carapaces.
Oh, sure. Especially if you took that chitinous plating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 13. So, yeah, I think overall, just for the place he's in right now, Rewind is probably one of the better ones you could do.
Yeah, and again, those do create ability or beetles as well. I did.
Thanks, Excited Soup.
Yeah,
in the chat.
I did try out Cryptweave. Just I like the idea of this, and it's you gain the ability to channel on the cocoon victims for 4 seconds to increase the duration by 4 seconds, only usable once per cocoon. So I don't know. It seemed cool. However, it's pretty much unnecessary. You don't need it more than 8 seconds.
It's 4 seconds, and it's 4 seconds. You're not doing anything else.
Well, that's not as big of a deal right now because you are not doing much anyways. This is something you can be doing while you're waiting for cooldowns to come off. But if you have Rewind, then bam, your cooldowns are off.
You're doing a lot more stuff with Rewind.
And actually, Rewind kind of makes me feel like maybe he should have. I wonder if he would feel better if he had like 2 charges of his Impale.
That's interesting.
And maybe 2 charges of Burrow Charge, but only 1 charge of Hardened Carapace with those cooldowns.
I think Burrow Charge is probably a little too strong to have 2 of, because then that gives him automatically an initiate and an escape, or a double escape in a row, which can be really, really frustrating. I do like the double Impale.
I like it, but then when you rewind it, then what? You would have 4 of them?
Yeah.
That's cool, but that would really mix it up in the middle of a group fight. I don't know.
Good.
It might be too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Try it.
Take that, stun meta.
Yeah, right.
I guess add to it.
It's not part of the problem.
But so I know we were kind of poking fun at poor old Anub'arak and stuff tonight, but he really is. Apparently, Multi doesn't like his kit. I like his kit. It's fun to play. Still fun to play him in quick match currently if I have a StarCraft warrior and I don't feel like playing Artanis. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy him, and if you guys haven't checked him out, maybe you want to wait till he gets some tweaks. But if not, go ahead and try him.
I think Blizzard he just needs a little numbers boost. That's what he really needs, and I think that would put him in a pretty decent spot. As just a little bit of healing, a little bit more beetle damage, maybe a little bit more on his shield, because the shield got nerfed so hard.
Yeah,
it used to actually be decent.
Let's go ahead and take a look over at Heroes Counters, though, to look at some strengths, weaknesses, and synergies. For strengths, we have Lili, Chin, Zebo, Malfurion, and Morales. His Impale can interrupt, and his Burrow Charge, so gets that nice range on Lili because you don't have to fight through a line. You can burrow underneath it to interrupt that. You have 2 things to interrupt Chin's drinking. Same thing with the Zebo. Malfurion, you can't interrupt Tranquility, right?
No, you cannot interrupt Tranquility.
So I guess just
the fact
more
that you can lock him down
I guess.
so much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He probably just wins trades against him a lot.
Yeah.
Just heads up.
But it's pretty much strong against anyone who has some sort of channeled ability and stuff, or who
very much so
gets caught by a stun is dead, which is a lot of heroes currently. ANoob'aRekt can be weak against. We have Li-Ming, Vala, Sylvanas, Sigara, and Johanna.
Anybody who can kite him, and anybody who can out-damage him, because, as we were saying, he is not the tankiest of tanks. He is probably at the bottom rung of tankiness for tanks.
Yeah.
And so Li-Ming can just straight out-sustain him. Vala can out-damage and kite him. Sylvanas is pretty much the same way.
And he seems like he has just enough health to where Lioric's Drain Hope still is pretty good against him, and he just does not win that trade at all. Lioric's at the top of this list for a reason. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. And then on good synergies, we got Tyrael, Jaina, Kerrigan, Butcher, and Rhaegar. Again, people stacking stuns, Jaina for her Blizzard, which, by the way, Li-Ming Jaina is amazing.
Is it?
That orb pulling people back into the center.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
into
Just
a
wrecks
blizzard
people in
or
Blizzard.
something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's my fave.
I gotta try that.
Yeah, and I mean anything stuns on stuns always synergize really well, or stuns on slows,
Right.
or anything to keep you inside Jaina's ring of death.
Yes. But that's going to do it for the Hero of the Week this week. Let us know what you guys think if you decide to check ANoob'aRekt out. But let's go ahead and move on. TBK, what do you have for community content this week?
So 2 things real fast. The first one is on Reddit, somebody made some portraits of the Carbot animations. And if you've never watched them, go look up Carbot animations, Heroes of the Storm on YouTube. They're absolutely hilarious. I believe there's 9
so good.
episodes out right now. They're so funny. But someone made portraits of them, and they're really great. And I would love to see Carbot portraits for each hero in game as either like maybe that's a level 15 reward or
At the higher ranks or lower ranks, whichever way you want to look at it.
Smaller numbers.
Yeah, because people don't really care about the rank as much. There's a lot of toxic people there who just, I don't like this pick, I'm out of here, or whatever. So yes, it's frustrating, but just know they are getting punished, and you probably didn't want to play with them anyways. You probably would have rather had them
that's a
drop
great
and
point.
requeue than get stuck with them in a game, have to deal with them being toxic, just wanting to go off and do their own thing because they didn't agree with the picks, or they'd say, screw this game. So I know not really a solution, but I don't think you can get too much more harsh with it.
Just so you're not punishing people who disconnected.
Yeah.
I guess I was also addressing people who aren't leavers necessarily, but just AFK during the draft phase as well. I don't know if that's what he's addressing as well, or just people who leave, but either way.
That's been brought up to Dustin Browder before on his Twitter, and he has said that, and I mean, the way you fix that is you add in the accept when the queue starts.
Right.
I mean, that's
That's
the fix for that. And I mean, it seems like a fairly easy fix. So I really hope they introduce something like that, or that exact same thing when the bans go into game, because when the bans go in, I feel like that's when the first like major phase of the redo of Hero and Team League is going to come in. So a feature like that's honestly very much needed and not necessarily that hard to implement. It's just did all 5 people hit the accept button? Great, let's throw them in. All 5 people didn't hit the accept button? Okay, go back into queue, grab a new person. It's not a huge deal, so I really hope we see something like that sooner, as when the bans come in and such, rather than later.
Yeah, and that's I don't really think that does anything with this, because even if someone's AFK, they're going to get a pick, and so the queue wouldn't actually, or the game wouldn't just disappear. But like I said a couple weeks ago or whatever, I've been wanting that ready button for a real long time. Long time.
It's definitely needed.
But that is about going to wrap it up this week. Multi, where can we be reached?
So certainly you can still reach us in-game by typing /join space LOTS. We've got a Twitter account at Lords of the Storm. We've got Facebook.com/Lords of the Storm podcast. You can send us emails, lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. And, of course, you can visit us on twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm. If you guys weren't here for our live show this week, we are going to continue to be live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Central. So that's where to look there. And we do other stuff there as well, of course. We're part of the Zord Network at www.zordnetwork.com, where you can find links to this show and another one, and my Hearthstone blog. I went nuts with the recent news update, and I'm going to continue to go nuts. Anyway, and the main way I enjoy interacting with people a lot is through our Discord. This is, again, a chat and also text chat service that you can get to. Ideally right now, just go to our Twitter, follow us at Lords of the Storm, and then there's a sticky at the top. But constantly growing, constantly just really interesting discussion about the game, other games, and just, a bunch of people hanging out, having a good time. It's a good way to find people to play games with, and certainly a good way to play games with us if you'd like. So
Yes,
again,
and we just added a new feature to this Discord.
that we did.
did.
We have a salt room, ladies and gentlemen. Just so it's a safe room where you can go and
Rant your heart out.
rant your heart out for Nova changes, for matchmaking, for whatever you want, and it's very therapeutic. Actually, people have been using
Yep.
it a lot.
Those
I enjoy
darn
reading it.
rogues.
But be
I
warned.
know I would be using it a lot more if I was playing WoW still.
Be warned. This is a safe zone, so you never know what you're going to get if you go in there. So just go in at your own
dangerous.
risk.
Might be really salty.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures of salt so far.
not peppery. Poltar.
No, not very peppery. So yeah, there's that, and it's all just in an effort to just make sure that there's somewhere for people to vent like that. I agree with that for sure. So okay, the other thing, of course, you guys can do if you do so feel, is you can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Lords of the Storm, where you can give whatever you feel necessary. You don't have to give anything. Obviously, we're going to keep with the free content each week no matter what, but we do appreciate it. It'll help us build up the show and get us closer to those milestone goals, and you can get cool Discord colors and stuff and a bunch of other perks. It's all on the website. You guys should check it out if you feel.
Absolutely. You can also find us individually. You can find me on Twitter at Gizmozord and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gizmozord. You can also find me every few weeks on Convert to Raid, the World of Warcraft podcast for Raiders, and on BlizzPro Weekly, the weekly YouTube BlizzPro news show. Multi, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Multizord, and I'm also on the Cavalry about Overwatch, and which you can follow at the Cavalry Show on Twitter. And we didn't even mention it, but Overwatch beta back
Yeah.
February 9th,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
announced today. So
Very cool.
yeah, hopefully we're expecting a new wave of invites too. So check your sign up for it if you haven't already, but definitely check the play button on that day. See what happens. But yeah, I'm on that BlizzPro Weekly show as well, and also that Hearthstone blog, hearthstone.zordnetwork.com.
And TBK?
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord and on twitch.tv/TBKZord, where I usually stream our Monday night custom games that start around 8 Central. We always have a lot of fun with those. This last week there was many ARAMs to be had,
Yeah.
and it was a blast to watch. And then I will also be casting some chair league games, most likely or usually Thursday nights. So be watching my Twitter and Twitch for that.
Excellent. And one other thing, since we did ANoob'aRekt this week, if you are feeling the need to look at some bugs, you can check out the whole Instagram over at Greg Jeb Parker. There's some bugs there you can check out. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Make sure you guys join us next week live for... Well, wait, hold on. I
What?
forgot.
What?
Well,
What?
we are going to... This is due to popular request and because it just makes sense. We're going to start doing releases. Our episodes are going to start coming out
yeah.
Thursdays instead of Fridays. Because when we were just recorded Wednesdays, it wasn't a big deal because, well, nobody heard it until Friday. But now, since we're doing
true.
live shows... we want people to be able to listen to it as soon as possible after it is out in the public. So Thursdays it is for
Starting
all
this
you
week.
guys. Starting
That'll work.
This week.
So
Oh, yeah.
you may listen to this on Friday because you didn't know that, but next week you're ready. You're ready to go. But now that is going to do it for this week's episode. So we'll see you guys next week to discuss some Li-Ming. And until then, have fun with the new changes. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yay.
Hey.